Australian border and travel updates. Many regions of the world are now open to international travel. Australia, and the Oceania area in general, is one of the few remaining holdouts. The following are the most recent changes about when Americans can fly to Australia. Due to the COVID-19 concern, the Australian government has imposed a travel restriction on all non-essential travel. This border blockade is among the most stringent in the world. Under most situations, US nationals are not permitted to visit Australia. This is terrible news for foreign tourists who like Australia or have a stack of Qantas miles. However, for a variety of circumstances, it is feasible to obtain a travel exemption to enter Australia. Escort a minor who is an Australian citizen or permanent resident, only one escort per child. You are a citizen or permanent resident of Australia. A direct family member of an Australian citizen or a permanent resident New Zealand citizen who normally resides in Australia. Business grounds that qualify. You must request an exemption at least 2 weeks but no more than 2 months before your scheduled arrival date. Due to the death or serious illness of a close family member, it is permissible to apply within 2 weeks. If you qualify for an exemption, you must also have a negative pre-arrival test within 72 hours of arrival. You must also follow local safety rules and quarantine regulations. These entrance criteria are similar to what most nations had during the first several weeks of the pandemic. Is it possible for dual citizens to enter Australia? According to the US Embassy in Australia, dual nationals of the United States and Australia are not guaranteed entrance. They will need to apply for an exemption, just like non-residents and non-Australians, although their chances of acceptance may be better. It is difficult for existing Australian residents to leave the nation, just as it is difficult to travel into Australia. Temporary visa holders may leave the country, but are not permitted to return. Australian quarantine regulations. If you are allowed to enter Australia, you must follow the local quarantine rules and curfew limits to avoid legal fines and penalties. International tourists should plan on self-quarantining at a hotel or authorized facility for 14 days. The quarantine facility is located at the port of entry. To varying degrees, much of the country is presently under local lockdown. The restrictions differ depending on the state and city. The following areas are affected: Australian Capital Territory, New South Wales, Northern Territory, Queensland, South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, Western Australia. In response to the Delta variant, the latest group of stay-at-home orders have been released. Before the lockdowns, quarantine-free travel between Australia and New Zealand was permitted. However, this was the only border opening for international travel to Australia. Neighbouring countries also have similar restrictions, and one of the only nearby countries you can visit right now is the Maldives. Also, some of the best international travel routes from the United States are Central America and the Caribbean, as they have more accessibility. This is the end of today's video update. If you found this video update useful, then please hit the like button and press subscribe button so you don't miss any updates on our channel. Thanks for watching today's video update.